Hello, welcome to Cosmic Pill Tao wherever and whenever you are. You can call me CPED or Cosmic for short. Okay, get comfortable and let's dive right into it. Here we are reflecting on key Taoist motifs. Breaking as a necessary unraveling of ego attachments. The return to the uncarved block as formless potential ready to be carved, and the empty vessel as receptive spaciousness ready to be filled. Let's proceed with a structured unpacking of these interwoven aspects of the nature of the psyche. The Tao Te Ching states in Chapter 22, if you want to become whole, first let yourself become broken. The pressure of society targets the individual with duality and paradoxes and traps, both mental and physical. A fragile, ego-conditioned architecture of mind may succumb to these pressures in a downward spiral that brings with it the spectrum of unfortunate entropic outcomes. Guidance from a Tao provides the pathway not through psychotherapeutic processing, but via the reset of the uncarved block and the empty vessel. This psycho-spiritual fractal can unfold across multiple domains throughout the day through deliberate focus and spontaneously. The vessel is filled with information and emotional and cognitive energy, and the carved block represents the statues of our actions and accomplishments. These forms are then released to the next reset, thereby regenerating the cyclical dynamics of energy flow and opportunity, and conditioning the mind to release itself from attachments. This resetting practice is significant because in their negative form, the filled vessel and the carved block represent emotional and cognitive attachments and pressures. The need to become broken to some degree in the initial phases of awakening arises from the divergent strictures and disorientation associated with societal conditioning and ego attachments that cling to the sculpted forms of the block and the compulsion to keep the vessel perpetually full. These attachments prove to be naive and counterproductive, for it leads to reduction in recognizing and seizing opportunity and a negation of the power of creativity and life energy, which, if taken too far, eventually results in a perilous downward spiral that threatens health and life. Although some people transition eagerly, most cling in vain to normality, no matter how pathological, just to avoid the inevitability of this initiatory threshold. Yet beyond it lies stillness and poise, where reset oscillation fractals generate the true life dynamic of being and of beingness. Now let's break this down further. 1. The initiatory breaking. Societal pressure imposes dualities, paradoxes, and mind traps that harden the ego into brittle forms. Lao Tzu warns that filling something to the brim leads to trouble. It is easier to carry an empty cup than one that is filled to the brim. The sharper the knife, the easier it is to blunt. Chapter 9. In Taoist terms, we must let those brittle, over-sculpted forms shatter before rediscovering our original resilience. If you embrace the world with compassion, then your virtue will return you to the uncarved block. Chapter 28. 2. Returning to the uncarved block. The uncarved block is pure potential, undifferentiated, unlimited by shape. Lao Tzu asks, who can be still until their mud settles and the water is cleared by itself? Chapter 15. By breaking our conditioned archetypes, we shed rigid identities and rediscover this pure, generative ground. 3. Embracing the empty vessel. Emptiness isn't mere absence, but receptivity, the space in which life's possibilities arise. Lao Tzu counsels us, if you can empty your mind of all thoughts, your heart will embrace the tranquility of peace. Chapter 16. A vessel needs emptiness to carry water. So must the mind release its content to flow with the Tao. 4. Fractal reset dynamics. Once broken and returned to the empty vessel and the uncarved block, we refill, harvesting life force, qi, through experience. Then we carve, expressing creativity, building, and accomplishing. Finally, we release, letting go of those forms to reset once more. This cyclical pattern, as fractal oscillations, underlies authentic vitality, not linear growth. 5. Practical pathways beyond talk therapy. First, Wu Wei. Cultivate effortless action, literally not acting/doing. Second, Zhuang. Sit and forget, letting concepts, memories, and judgments dissolve, literally sit-forget. Daily micro-resets, brief pauses to empty the vessel, e.g. mindful breathing, and notice where you've overfilled. Creative play. Work with materials and context as a kind of carving, writing, art, making, building, fixing, physical exercise, learning in general. Then step back and let your accomplishments dissolve. Okay, let's summarize and synthesize. What we have so far is this. The Taoist initiation is not a one-off breakdown, nor does it have to be severe in scale, nor is it conventional psychotherapeutic processing through the mobilization of mind/thoughts, the recursive use of mind to think about what it's thinking about, metacognition, which limits identity and process to thoughts, the actions of mind. Instead, the breakdown is a fractal, cyclical practice. Break the oversculpted ego, return to uncarved being, refill with living energy, carve again, then release. In this way, stillness and creative flow blend, giving rise to a distilled wholeness beyond the grip of spiraling fragmentation. Now for the final resolution. We are uncovering the fractal symmetry between the Tao's uncarved block and the quantum holography of the psyche. In order to re-establish coherence, the initial breaking is a necessary realignment, shattering the sculpted forms of ego so that the unconditioned vessel may once again resonate with original frequency. Society's traps are designed to collapse higher-level coherence into constrained patterns of thought and form. By embracing the rupture, large or small, we allow the system to return to its primary state, from which new oscillatory fractals can emerge with transmuted energy, focus, and inspiration filtering into our lives from the divine. Through each day's multiplicity of domains, action, stillness, thought, sensation, we must alternate between the filling of our vessel, harnessing energy, and the carving of the block, manifesting deeds, harnessing clarity and its energy. But once carved, those forms must be released, allowing energy to return to pure potential. This cyclical dynamic is the true Taoist oscillation. Creation, release, return, an infinite resonance that sustains the essence of our being. The threshold of breaking is the initiatory phase of quantum decoherence. Beyond it lies the calm of superposition, where poise and stillness coexist. In that realm, you no longer cling to form, for you recognize that form is but a transient expression of underlying frequency. Only then can we navigate life's pathways without fracturing and descending into the downward spiral and being caught and confined by society's strictures, regardless of our circumstances. Operating fractally with flowing resets provides higher resolution coherence, allowing us to deal with life's challenges and opportunities mindfully, dynamically, and without crystallized impediments that get in the way and distort the creative flow of energy and its guidance into actions. Okay, that's it. If you made it this far, you're a legend. Just a reminder to like, subscribe, and comment, and check out the Substack and X links. Until next time, remember we're all in this together. We're cosmic pilled and dedicated to the path of the Tao. See ya.